Time is something that we all experience, and did you ever realise that sometimes time can feel as though it's going much faster or much slower, or you look back on it and it seems to have moved at a different pace to what you are expecting or what you're used to? Recently, I've realised that I've made a lot of changes in my life, and, well, as a result of something, time seems to be going so much faster that it's actually worrying me a bit at the moment. And in this video, I'm going to go over some of those points, and perhaps we can work out together why my time seems to be going so quickly at the moment. And perhaps there's something useful in here that you can use in case for some reason you want time to move much faster for yourself. Hey, and welcome to this video in this series that I'm making, a challenge series where I talk for 10ish minutes or so every day, unscripted and unedited, inspired by a video series that I'm going to link in the description. Now, this is the second time I've tried to record this video today because, unusually, one of my colleagues actually turned up to work on time, which was quite rare, and found me recording myself in the office. They were a bit confused, but they didn't really seem to give it any thought, but I had to stop the recording. In this case, I'd run out of time. Time had caught up with me. But we go again, and we'll see how this turns out this time. So, no more rambling. Let's start with it. There are 4 main points, and perhaps a few smaller ones, as to why I think my perception of time seems to have sped up quite a lot recently. And some of them are sort of linked together. So, number 1. As of September, the 1st of September 2025, I gave up drinking alcohol. It's been a huge problem that I've been battling almost without realising it for the last 10, 15 years or so. And in the past few years, it has gotten really bad to the point that I was drinking almost every single day. So every day after work, I'd pick up some beers or something on the way home, start drinking them at sort of 6:30ish, 7, finish drinking them, head down to the shop again, buy some more, maybe a different shop so they don't judge me, but I don't think they cared really. And this would just go on until 1 a.m. where I'd sort of fall asleep and get up for work the next day or the gym pretty early, so I wasn't really sleeping much. Now, why do I think this might have been a trigger for, my perception of time speeding up? Because perhaps you might think it's the other way around. Well, I understand there's this thing called REM sleep, and it's, the good quality sleep, the sleep that gets you well rested. And it's my understanding that this aspect of sleep, or maybe another aspect, is interfered with when you've been drinking a lot of alcohol, as I did every single day. Maybe you don't notice it, but you might have a restless night where you're constantly waking up, or the quality of your sleep isn't very good. So what I think, maybe this isn't the case, is that because of this, the nights just felt much, much longer because I wasn't getting a nice, good night's sleep. I was only sleeping a few hours, and of the hours I got, they weren't good quality sleep. I don't know if this is true, but, since quitting alcohol, I've seen a lot of benefits, but this bizarre drawback seems to be the case that time is going much faster. It seems like I've got less time. And that sort of moves into the next point, and that is my daily routine. Now, I didn't really have a very good routine at all during my rampant alcoholic phase. Going to bed I guess there was a routine, but it wasn't a good one. Now, though, I go to bed at around 9 p.m. every night. So already I've lost several hours. So what's that? 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. 5 hours in the evening. So I've got less time in the evening after work to get things done. Everything, well, not everything. I feel a bit more rushed to get some things done, perhaps. And then I wake up at, 4:45 in the morning to either go to the gym or have a slow morning before work. So, from that perspective, I'm almost a bit busy in the morning, so getting up to go to the gym, or I'm just sort of chilling in the morning, having a coffee and watching some YouTube, thinking about what video I should make next, something like that. So I also have started reading before bed as well, so that's another 30 minutes to an hour sort of shaved off. And I find that has really helped me get to sleep. Now I get to sleep just like that now, just like as soon as I go to bed, I lie there thinking, oh no, maybe tonight I'm not going to be able to get some sleep. But I just immediately fall asleep and have a good night's sleep compared with my alcohol days. So yeah, I think these two things combined have really increased my quality of life in some respect. But I feel as though there's been some impact on my perception of time and the fact that I am living in a sort of regimented routine life that I don't know. It, I'm not too sure how to explain it, but those two things combined seem to have had an impact. Moving on to the next thing, I would say that starting working on YouTube channels and such for making YouTube videos, you know, conversely has also had some sort of impact on this. So this is something as well that I started doing bizarrely on the 1st of September. So I started planning out YouTube videos that I could make, and I made some. So I had a previous channel before this which kind of went nowhere, but I guess I didn't give it much of a chance. But since I started that, it was like a science channel where I just talk about science. But I got 0 views. But since I started that, every free moment I had that I wasn't, let's say, doing chores or at work, I felt as though I was supposed to be working on the channel, working on the video, working on a script or something along those lines. And as a result, I was either constantly procrastinating this, trying to put it off, or worrying about it, or trying to write the script but getting frustrated with it. So as you can probably see then, this was taking up all of my free time. And because I guess I wasn't really enjoying it. I wanted to enjoy it, and I knew that I was supposed to enjoy it, because if you kind of are hating it straight away before you've even done anything, then like what's the point in putting yourself through it? Like these videos I love making, just every morning or afternoon, I suppose in this case, getting up and having a chat with myself and putting it out there, perhaps saying something useful, perhaps not, but always growing from it, learning something each time. But the YouTube videos, they were taking up all of my time on this other channel, and what little time I had left, I guess I felt I didn't have any time as a result. And yeah, these 3 things so far combined I think they had an effect on my perception of time. And the 4th big thing I could think of is, building on these, my complete lack of problems I've had recently. Like, when you live like the loner lifestyle, you generally don't have many problems or responsibilities other than to keep yourself alive, and I suppose that's just optional. Like, all I have to do is go to work, make sure I'm not in crippling debt, feed myself, and go to sleep at night. But when there is any problem at all as a result, unfortunately, it feels like it is the only problem you've got in the whole world. So I think earlier last year my roof was leaking, and I was just unbelievably stressed. It was the only thing I could think about, the one thing on my mind. It kept me up at night. It kept me drinking. I guess when I was drinking, I didn't need an excuse to drink, but it made me drink more, or at least justify my drinking. But yeah, the roof leaking, the problem was so big to me. I was so worried all the time, And now, like, recently, again, as of that particular date, the 1st of September, that's almost my rebirth now. I haven't really had any big problems, so I haven't had anything to massively worry about, or any other, significant responsibilities. Because, as I mentioned, the only responsibility I have otherwise is to myself, to keep myself alive. When you have a house, I guess you do have some responsibilities put on you to maintain that house compared to renting. And it was something I really hated to begin with, but I find you just get used to it out of necessity. You realise that you don't have to fix everything at once, but as long as the house is still standing and again the roof isn't leaking, that's fine. But yeah, those are the main things I think that have caused me to feel as though time is just passing me by really quickly, and hopefully that made some sort of sense to you. But yeah, that's all I have to talk about today, I suppose. That's how to speed up time. How would I summarise this then? So to speed up your perception of time, you've got to cut back on your vices, your addictions. You've got to get into a daily routine whereby you're, consistent every day. You've got to focus on something that you can procrastinate over and fill up all the remainder of your spare time and get rid of all of your external problems. Sounds like a lot, and I don't know why you would want to do this. Why would time going quickly be a good thing? Perhaps you're waiting for something in particular, or I guess that's all I can really think of. At the moment, I'm really worried that because time is going so fast for me that I'm just wasting my life. But no, I think that actually there's a way to slow back down time to a regular speed, and perhaps I'll talk about that in a future video. But until then, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.